Today we continue our series of talks with the Santam silage role players, and first we chat to Grant Pringle, a senior agronomist from PANNAR, about silage and PANNAR's involvement in the competition. Grant, what would you regard as a good maize cultivar for silage making and why?
Okay, so in South Africa, we have a wide range of climatic environments. And likewise, we also have a wide range of maize hybrids to suit those different environments. So what makes a good silage variety is firstly that it needs to be adapted to your particular environment. So if you're looking for a hybrid, go and get some maize grain trial results, and usually the hybrids that do well for maize grain in your environment will generally also be very good for maize silage. So that's the first step that you need to follow. And then the second thing that you need to look at is the size of the plant itself. You want a plant that has obviously got adapted to your environment, but is also a reasonably large frame plant with a reasonably long stalk, because the size of the plant then adds dry matter to your yield because you're harvesting the entire plant. And then the third thing I think that you need to look at is overall good leaf disease tolerance. If your hybrid has got good leaf disease tolerance, then the chances are that if you are pressed at your cutting window, your plant is going to be able to hold for a few extra days and give you a wider opportunity to harvest that crop. So I think if you look at those attributes for your environment, then you should be picking the best option for a maize hybrid for silage.
How do cultivars that are suitable for silage differ from other cultivars?
Okay, so in the South African market, the percentage of seed sold for silage in maize is actually quite a small proportion. So the overwhelming focus of maize breeders is on maize grain hybrids. But as I mentioned in my first answer, the climatic variation across South Africa is quite wide. So generally, hybrids that come onto the commercial market there will also, in amongst that spread, be hybrids that are well suited to silage, and that they will tick the boxes required for a good silage hybrid. So the hybrids don't really differ per se. It's just maybe the stature of the plant or certain disease profiles that might be advantageous for using that variety for silage. And as I say, most of the breeding is focused on grain, but we will also have hybrids coming out of that process that are well adapted or well suited to be used for silage hybrids.
You do a lot of research at PANNAR. Is there any research that points to a growth in the cultivation of the type of crops and cultivars used for silage?
Okay, so in my experience, farmers in South Africa are generally quite adventurous and willing to experiment. And whilst the types of crops that are used for silage don't really change very much, I think there's quite a standard range of varieties and crops that are used for silage. But what I see happening is farmers are prepared to experiment with planting things maybe outside of their optimum window. For example, using oats, which is a temperate crop, planting it in summer and ensiling it to make use of opportunities that they have in their system. And also maybe farmers using very ultra early maize hybrids to shorten their summer production requirements so that they can get in earlier in the season with their cover crops for the winter, which widens their production systems. So I think the general picture is that we're not seeing new crops being developed for silage. The focus is on improving existing crops that are currently used in silage. But I think it's quite interesting the way farmers adapt and use products in a different way in the field.
PANNAR has ties in the USA and in Argentina. How would you say our silage compares to theirs?
Okay, so when it comes to quality parameters for measuring silage, these remain the same pretty much across the globe. The parameters are very standard. And the quality of silage generally relates to the quality of the crop that you put into that process and how you manage that process to make your silage. So I think the climatic variation in that we experience in South Africa can result in a little bit more variation in the quality of our product. But having said this, so from one season to the next, our product might not be as consistent um, as some of the other areas in the world where the environment is maybe a bit more stable. But having said this, I really believe that the silage farmers in South Africa definitely do not stand back from our compatriots around the world. So the quality of our products is very, very good, and the guys are doing a very good job. And I think this has particularly happened in the last 10 years or so. The focus has really moved onto doing the processes better. And I think we are definitely seeing improvement in, or have seen an improvement in the quality of silage in recent years.
Lastly, you've been involved in the competition for some time now, both as a sponsor and entering your client's silage. What are your hopes for the competition this year and in the future? And how do you see the competition changing the way we produce silage?
Yeah, it's been a very interesting experience for me being involved in the silage competition. And for me, one of the most interesting things has been customers who have consistently entered year on year. Um, their scores that they've achieved have improved from one season to the next. And for me, that is extremely encouraging. So what that tells me is farmers have learned from the process, and they've been able to apply that learning to improve the quality of their product. So for me, that's been a real benefit of the competition, is that farmers are now becoming aware of mistakes that they've been making and have acted to basically eliminate those mistakes. And as a result, they are producing a better quality feed for their animals. And for me, that's a really big win that has come out of the competition. And yeah, so for me, I think the competition has already had the impact of improving silage production for these farmers. So I would encourage silage farmers out there to enter the competition and start and start getting some feedback on the quality of their silage, so that they too can also improve. And I really, I hope that more farmers will enter the competition, because I definitely believe that there's benefits to be had on their farm from entering the system or entering the competition.
That was Grant Pringle from PANNAR, but stay tuned for another insightful conversation about silage.